All right. Well, hey, everybody. I want to say good Friday. Happy Friday. This is the last Friday of Black History Month, of the Love Month. And we have a very special guest. I'm going to go ahead and introduce my other co host, Joy, the Coach Young. And she's going to say a few words, and then we'll go ahead and introduce our guest.
Absolutely. I got to say first, this month flew by so quick.
Yeah.
We didn't get a chance to do it, no due diligence, but however, I am Joy, the coach. I'm your mystic millionaire and mindset transformer. I am so excited about tonight and I'm ready to dive in. Let's introduce our guests and let's get this party rolling.
Yeah. So thank you again, Joy, for your introduction. It's always entertaining. Uh, so tonight we have Gwen Clemons from TUV Media and Film. I've known Gwen, as I said, for many years. She's been a great friend of mine. I love her so much. We've gone to the same church. I'm still actually a member of that church. So Gwen, thank you again and welcome. And if you'll go ahead and give yourself an introduction and let us know your credentials, that we can start after that.
Ooh-wee. Well, absolutely. I think it's an honor to be here
Oh,
on your platform. I'm excited for y'all and what you're doing. Like I told you earlier, everything looked wonderful.
thank you.
It's really nice. So I'm just here, to be a sponge or add to the content of the conversation tonight. I hail from Memphis, Tennessee, home of the Grizzlies. I'm rocking my Grizzly hat tonight.
Okay, I see you.
And like you said, I have a media company, all thing black, LGBTQ. That's where we stake our claim in. So we run a bi-monthly magazine. This is our 10th year. We're gonna have a big celebration this fall. Um, Also a radio show, podcast, nonprofit. Um, we host Tri-State Black Pride in June. Juneteenth weekend in Memphis, Tennessee, a big 4-day convention. So I'm ready for that. So just being busy, man. Just being busy.
I hear you. I hear you. All good things. Listen, I see you in
All good
June.
things. All
I've
good.
already got my tickets.
Listen, it's about blackness for me. I
Okay.
love it. Yeah, we definitely got to make sure you drop all your information where people can reach out to you because I need to post some ads myself. But yeah, this is exciting. I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Yeah. Listen, we are in the love month and we've had another episode regarding some relationships. And of course, I know that the magazine itself, Relationship Unleashed or the Relationship Unleashed umbrella, explain to us a little bit more about that and how that was birthed and the reason or the thought process behind that.
So the magazine is the Unleashed Voice
Okay.
magazine,
Okay.
right? So and then we have a nonprofit. It's called Relationship Unleashed. So our distinction and our brand is unleashed. So
Okay.
everything we do have unleashed in it, in the name.
Yeah.
So the nonprofit started first. It
Okay.
was birthed through our church. We have an affirming ministry in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm also an ordained elder in the church, in the ministry. And we were doing workshops in the church, life skills with our members because our members had a lot of personal issues. And we know sometimes, in addition to prayer, you need counseling and coaching. So, by trade, I am a licensed coach also, and a counselor was my occupation. So, we were just doing our thing, and the response was so overwhelming. My business partner is my son. So, I talked to him. I was like, hey, listen, this is bigger than this church, you know.
Yes.
And the work that we doing, we got to get it outside of these four walls because I think a lot of other people can benefit from the work that we was doing in the church. So that was the beginning of the whole business venture. It wasn't planned, nothing like that. It was just something that we were doing, just helping people in our church. And we saw an opportunity right there to take this further. And that's when we launched the nonprofit. And the nonprofit took off because we were primarily serving the Black LGBTQ community. And in that time, 2014, nobody was doing anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was doing workshops in Memphis, Tennessee. Nobody was doing workshops. Nobody was doing financial literacy. Nobody was doing mental health. There was nothing for Black gay women to come in and sit down and be mentored to, or young Black gay men to be mentored to. So that's how we started. And when we worked it for a year, and then somehow the idea for a radio show came up. And because God was just giving us businesses to birth. They were just coming. And not having formal training, we just said, hey, listen, we found a radio station that took us in, and boom, there we go. We had a radio show. And through the radio show, a year later, we launched the magazine because all of it was working together. And it was just a way to get the work that we was doing out to a broader audience.
Mm-hmm.
And we also found that we couldn't stay inside of Memphis, Tennessee, because it was bigger than Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah.
So that's how we became a national publication. And the radio show, we actually went off the air in 2020 during the pandemic, when the world shut down.
Yeah.
So when we got ready to go back, the station had sold the station to this big Republican. And we didn't want to have no part of that because they was very staunch Trump supporters. So we didn't do that. And that's how we ended up doing podcasting, streaming, from our office space. And that's how our birth.
That's wonderful. That's great.
So I want to pivot for a second because I think this is extremely important. With the climate that we live in, where the generational differences in God and LGBT, because I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm as an ordained elder myself, I find myself in these embattlement conversations, and I had to snap on somebody last night on Facebook, because you're not going to come on my page, I don't care who you are, and tell me where I'm going to hell because of what you believe. So because I still believe in God. I believe in Jesus. Oh, now, granted, I'm more of a God consciousness perspective, but I do believe in the word. I do believe in the church. I don't believe in church people, but I do believe in the church. And I think it's healthy. And I want you to give us some more insight on that, because I think it's healthy that people don't dismiss God because of church people.
Yeah.
Don't dismiss Christ and its acceptance because of church people. And I want you to give us just the dive in that, because I don't want them to get so lost into a faith that they don't truly understand and accept because people have damaged it the way that they have. Could you do that for me, please?
Well put. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach Joy, I think that we've been doing like God wrong. I don't mean God, how we worship God, how we reverence God, like where we go to look for God. We've been doing that all wrong, right? And so our church been in existence for 12 years. So one of the most liberating things for me was that my son and his husband, they both have their doctorate degree in theology. So they went to school like close to 10 years, studying the Bible, studying texts, scriptures, all this stuff, and came back and just brought this back to the church. We go to the seminary here in Memphis, Tennessee, talk to the professors. They come to our church, heterosexual white men, heterosexual black men, heterosexual black women, white women that have no vested interest to tell us that these scriptures are wrong in the Bible. So what we learned is that most people that condemn homosexuality is only 7 references in the Bible. Out of 35,000 scriptures, if God really, really wanted to make that a point, then you think it would be more than 7, okay, in the Bible. So really, the argument is really mute to just sit here and argue about one text in the Bible, because you can't read the Bible like that. You can't go to a scripture and point and say, see, it said man shall not lay with man as it lay with woman. See, that's not how the Bible works. The Bible works just like English. When you're writing a paper and you got to do a paragraph, you got to go who, what, when, where, how, and how come. Who were they talking to? Why were they talking to them? What were they talking about? Why did they say the things they said? What was the intent behind it? And when you begin to look at those ancient scriptures written by ancient people 3,000 years ago, then you begin to really understand that they were not the intended purpose behind those scriptures. And then if you know your Bible, the first thing it say when you open it up, it say written, the inspired written word of God.
And you know what? Just to put another pin in that, we're not even using the original script. That's the other part.
At
We're
all.
reading the King James version, which is their interpretation of something that was wrote in Hebrew, Greek, and Aramaic, because
Aramaic.
Christ was Aramaic.
Yep.
So
And
you had, so
most
you're,
people don't even can't even translate Aramaic.
Yeah.
thank you.
It's not even people around that can read that. So if you just you would, I always ask people when they want to come and talk their foolishness, well, what denomination was Jesus?
He wasn't even a Christian.
Christianity wasn't even in existence then. It's relatively new when you start talking about religion, right?
Yeah.
Because you know you had Hinduism was out there before Christianity was thought about, thousands of years, and
And
Buddhism.
people don't understand Christianity was the original African spirituality thought.
Yeah, it's you know,
So
and
it goes so much further that
most
people
of them
don't want
don't
to
even
acknowledge.
know. They don't even know the history. They don't even know the history of King James and who he was and what
Mm.
he was doing and why he did what he did. You know, because a lot of people just still think Jesus was white with blonde hair and blue eyes, and the one hanging on your
Don't
grandma's
make me
wall
run.
with
Don't make
Martin
me
Luther
run.
King and
I will get up
JFK and
and run
Jesus.
right now. Don't make me
You
run.
know, that's not Jesus. And they don't even know the history. They don't even know the culture. They don't know all the dynamics of what religion is. Religion is just really a form of control.
Hmm.
Exactly.
That was the whole reason that they even came up with the concept of it anyway, to even put it in a book to say, huh, eat and digest this and do what I say. Because that's not how you get to God. You don't need the Bible to get to God. Because
And to round, oh,
the
go ahead. I'm
Bible
sorry.
don't save you.
It absolutely don't. But then not only that, I think to round it out, we all have to understand they as many scriptures that people pick out to use to damage, they forget the main scripture that says, "For God so loved the world."
Mm.
Even if you want to continue the rest of it, the beginning says it all. And we keep forgetting that everybody's included in the world.
Yeah.
So you can point out just because you are so fascinated in how I love on my wife doesn't matter. I'm still a part of the world that he loved
Absolutely.
and that he gave his only begotten, and whosoever believe, and I do believe, should not perish and have everlasting life. So therefore I'm included. And I think they missed that 100,000%.
They didn't
So
miss it.
thank you for that.
They didn't miss it. I mean, you know, you can even go one real simple. When they asked God, they asked Jesus what was the greatest commandment. And Jesus said love.
Did he
Period.
not? Exactly. Period. Point blank. We're done.
Period.
That's it.
That's what he said. And you know, it's like when you get into that, you know, you really gotta have time just to dive into it. And
Yeah.
I always tell people, then I, you know, we don't have to talk about it anymore. A lot of that they read was written by Paul. So really, y'all believe Paul. Y'all don't believe Jesus, because Paul bipolar self wrote most of
What?
the.
Exactly. Listen, I'm telling you right now, it's about the time to take up that teruma, the tithe, and the offering. You can sit in there. What's that cash out? I'm just joking.
Absolutely. All good stuff. Listen, I'm sure people learned a lot, but just in that short conversation. And so I appreciate the question, Joy. Let's pivot just a little bit to since people have so much to say about our relationships, right? We're all same gender loving couples here. A lot of our audience is as well. Um, what would you say? Because we have a mixture of single people and married people, or people who are just in the dating phase or what have you. Give us some feedback or some guidance on what's a good approach to use when dating. Is there like a protocol? Is there some things that we need to do self-awareness, or how do we prepare ourselves for dating?
Ooh, we Keisha, you know, I've been married 15 years.
No, I was there.
Listen,
I've been on lock for 15 years, so my advice might be outdated. But you know, actually, real interesting question. I do work with couples like premarital,
Okay.
postmarital coaching, and you know, it's really interesting. And a lot of times, I think people don't really have a good idea even why they want a relationship.
Yeah.
You know, they they don't even have a real good understanding of what a partnership is. You know,
Yeah.
most of them, they think that once they get into a relationship, it's ownership of that other person, and it's not. It's more so like a partnership, especially when you get into these ventures. You want to get engaged, you want to get married, all that good stuff. And a lot of people come in with a whole lot of baggage. They
Mm-hmm.
come in with a whole lot of unrealistic expectations of other people that they can't even fulfill themselves. So I just think it just have to be like, it's a lot of work that got to be done
Yeah.
on our community. um Relationships, I see it all the time, they don't last long, you know, because they come in for the wrong reason. Most of them looking for sponsors, uh
That part.
especially you know, I mean, really, because they have this concept of heteronormative
Okay.
in lesbian and gay men relationship. They want this role thing to kick in. You know, the dominant
Yeah.
woman got to be the man, and the provider and the breadwinner and all that stuff. This ain't no heteronormative relationship over here. We two women in this relationship. Ain't no man in my house.
Yeah.
Okay, so we partners over here, and we don't fashion our relationship after man and woman. But a lot of people come in and they have that idea of this role thing, and it rolls over into their relationship, and then the person can't live up to the expectation. Then boom, the relationship fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
So I think relationship self work on yourself will help a lot of people eliminate a lot of problems that they have.
Yeah.
The first thing I ask folks when I meet them and I'm working with them, why did y'all even get into a relationship in the first place? And they'll sit and look, and because they don't know. And most of it, really, they just really want companionship.
Okay.
You know, because actually we're not meant to be alone. We're meant to
Right.
have companionship. But
Right.
then when you begin to take on all these other responsibilities, then why do you want one?
Real
because
talk.
it's they won't try. They won't need a trauma bond, in my perspective, and that's
Yeah.
how I feel about a lot of lesbians. I mean, we were
Mm-hmm.
all young and we had that trauma bond, and it was like, real quick. I need to go back to something real quick. I didn't acknowledge this hat that Keisha got on. That hat is doing it. I ain't gonna. That hat is doing it for me. Okay.
Man.
All right. Let me back up my statement. But it's the trauma bond that I think brings lesbians together,
Okay.
because they're looking for that missing piece. They're
Yeah.
looking for what they don't have, instead of, like you said, Pastor Clemens, that they're not looking to build themselves, prepare themselves for it. Before I got married, I was luckily in a place where mentally, I was like, no, my name is good. And if I'm going to put my name on somebody, I need to make sure first I could put it on a piece of plastic. I can
Mm-hmm.
make sure that I could sustain what I'm trying to invite this person in, because I had a very good single life before my wife waltzed her way into my life. And and I wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to be interrupted, and
Yeah.
that I could continue to live the life that I had got used to with a second person. That because that dinner bill tripled when I got married, even though I only married one person. That
Yeah.
bill tripled. Going to the store, tripled. And I'm like, I only married one person. So you have to prepare for those things. And even though, yes, we're two women in our house and things like that, our dynamic is a tad bit of different, and it could be considered a heterosexual norm, but it works for us. And so, you have to find what works for you, but in
Mm-hmm.
the same sense. The biggest thing that Pastor Clemens said, find yourself before you try to get involved with somebody else.
Yeah.
Because in 5 years, you're going to be different.
Yeah.
Hell, in 1 year, you're going to be different.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And, 10 years, are you going to want to look at that same person when you're like, yo, because you got to be able to say, I love you. I'm going to stick beside her. But then as soon as that makeup come off, am I sticking beside her? Because that's not who I met. And so you
Absolutely.
got to, and I'm being real. I have friends to break up with people because that one day they wore a bad wig.
Oh wow.
That one day they just had on a bad makeup job and it was it for them. And then now you're saying this person developed to be the most beautiful individual and you lucked out over a
Yeah.
wig, over makeup. And
Yeah.
I'm being real.
Yeah.
And these are adults. These are not kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Well,
think no, that's like I always tell people I had this little thing. It's called a representative. A lot of folks they show up, with the representative, and the representative can't really keep that up. Eventually, the real you gonna show up, and then
yeah.
that's what make the person go, "This ain't what I bought. This ain't what I signed up for."
It's like I was wondering when the real Ike was gonna come out.
Absolutely. So that was one of the things when I met my wife. I was like, "Listen, I don't." I don't want to meet your representative. If you don't wear makeup every day, don't come over my house dressed up with your face.
Yeah.
I want to meet you. I
Yeah.
want to know who I'm getting because I would think I had matured to that point that I was ready. And I
Hmm.
was like Fannie Mae Hamer. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I was like, I'm not going through this no more. I had just got out of a 7-year relationship. I was tired. And
Yeah.
I did some self-help work on myself
Okay.
to get prepared. And when we met, I knew she was gonna be my wife.
Mm.
I knew that. I knew that like day two.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Oh, she
But
must have put it down on you. Come on, day two.
I didn't give her my representative either, because we
Okay.
did
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
too,
Yeah.
it's a two-way street here.
Yeah.
So I didn't do all the things that I would have normally done when I met somebody. Cause I showed up with my bag of tricks too. I'm out
Okay.
there fishing, trying to reel them in, impress the person and all that stuff. And I was like, I ain't doing that no more.
Yeah.
Hey, our first date cost $22.
I ain't
Okay.
never had a
I
$22
paid for the
date. Oh my
sandwich. She
God.
bought the $8 bottle of wine.
Oh,
That's what's up. That's what's up.
oh,
Like
can
for
I ask you?
real.
Let me ask you a question. Since we're talking about that, what about what about individuals who are in a relationship? They start out one way because we want to think that that person did not send a representative, but then they decide to transition. How is it? Is there signs that people can notice? Is it saying, hey, throw it out at the beginning? Because what I realize in some people that they don't transition with the partner when they transition, they just support it. And it causes problems on the back end because they don't want to change just because you decided to change. So, what advice can you give those individuals that are in these relationships and they're long relationships that now their partner is deciding to transition? And maybe they feel blindsided, maybe they didn't.
Are you saying transition like female to male?
Transgendering, yes.
That's real interesting. I had that to happen to a friend who transitioned, and her wife had been married for a while, and they had adopted kids, and um, they broke up because the wife was. She said she was a lesbian, and
Mm.
she wasn't really. She didn't want to be in a relationship with the male figure like
Hmm.
that because she totally transitioned, features, everything, facial hair. I mean, you couldn't tell that she's trans unless he tell you now.
Hmm.
I mean, that's just how much of the physical features changed. And I think that each person needs to have an opportunity to make that choice.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can fault either person in that. Some people I think will be okay with it,
Hmm.
and some people would not. Like me personally, um, I think that I don't think I would be in a relationship with if my wife was to transition to a male.
Hmm.
I don't think we would be in a relationship together, because I have no interest in being in a relationship with a male or a male figure. Some people transition, and even though they're male, but they still aren't male in the bed. Did that make sense?
That
Yes.
makes sense. Yes.
Right. So, and it doesn't boil down to sex. Like a lot of time, my trans friends say, stay out of our bedroom. Because I
Mm,
have friends that male and went from female to male and male to female, and they are married with the baby.
okay.
Okay. But that works for them. Like you said earlier, you got to do what works for you. So um I just think, just give me a choice, an opportunity to make a
Right.
choice of what's best for me, and in a relationship. And if it can't be for us, because if I can't agree to it, because what's going to end up happening is that resentment going to kick in.
Mm-hmm.
Resentment going to come in at some point, because somebody's not happy in this relationship. So I think that's just probably one of those life-changing situations that you're going to have to encounter, and you're going to have that tough conversation and deal with it.
Yeah.
You know, my relationship, like you said, we've been together 15 years, and we've gone through a lot of changes in our relationship, a lot of growing,
Mm-hmm.
sacrifice, and all that good stuff. We're not the two people we met back in 2009
Yeah. That's
at
true.
all. Okay, that dynamic gone. And so, but we had that stickability. We in it for the long haul. And I think the longer that we've been together, the easier that it's gotten. But
Okay.
that transition part, that's tough, because I think I see in our community a lot of people back in my day, because I'm older than both of y'all. We didn't have this freedom
Yeah.
that this generation have now. You know, these young folks don't care. Okay, they
At
do
all.
it at
They don't care
all.
at all.
They don't care, and I think they have that liberty now, where I had to suppress mine a lot.
Okay.
Now it is what it is, and a lot of women are opting to transition. But I have found that because of stigma and ignorance,
Mm-hmm.
it exists within our own community too now. You
Okay.
know, so we discriminate in our own community against trans men
Oh,
and
big time.
trans women,
Mm-hmm.
and they have a hard time dating in our community. That's why a lot of times the trans community end up dating within the trans community.
Yeah. I would agree with what you said, Gwen. I could say for myself, I can't imagine if my wife came to me and wanted to have that conversation. What I hope would happen is that we could figure out a way to salvage some sort of friendship, right? It's not my job, or I don't feel like I have to try to convince her to stay married to me, even though she's experiencing or going through something different, right? I hope that I would be able to offer her some grace and support throughout her journey.
Mhm.
And then again, figure out how we can be some sort of friends. And that may not be right away, right? That may look different further down the line. But at the very least, I hope that at some point we could be friends or cordial. But certainly, like you said, it's not necessarily for me, but it's not my position or my place to prevent her from going down that path if she so choose.
And you know what else I think I like to add? Also, I think it also depends on what part of the country you live in.
Okay.
Because in the South, especially where we live, you
Mm,
know, it's not a lot of representation.
okay.
Where you
Right.
have other larger cities, New York, California,
Mm-hmm.
I would say Florida, Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
representation is there out, and you can navigate that community easily. But you end up coming to some country bumpkin town like where I live, you're gonna run into some opposition
Yeah.
and or ignorance.
Mm-hmm.
about our community and the journey that these individuals are on.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that plays into the attitude and the perception of the community that they are part of, like where they live.
Right.
No, I completely understand that. And I think for me, it would be a hard set no, not because I don't think it's beautiful. It's just my personal preference.
Hmm.
I love the femininity, um, of a woman, and that is what's attractive to me. But I have some gorgeous, handsome brothers. Like I play with them a lot. I'd be like, oh, if you was a real prince, I'll marry you. I'd play with them, in that aspect because I respect their journey and respect how they are accepting their life and how they're living the life out loud. And I love it.
Hmm.
Um, and I've joked around with my wife plenty of times. Every time she make mad, I'm going to get on T because you know what? To be honest with you, I would love to get on something to make my body look like the way I want it to. Like these hips be hipping, and I think I'm not gonna lie, they be looking good, and I be like, come on, I want that body too. But overall, I think my Keisha knows I'm too girly. It,
Yeah.
it it would go wrong for me. I know it would. That would be so wrong. They'd be
Yeah.
like they'd probably think I'm the Black Todd Chrisley around this thing. It would go so wrong for me. And so but I think it's beautiful. I've seen some wonderful transitions. Like it's so amazing, and I support everybody in their journey because I know it was hard to make that decision because you have to think about who you're losing.
Yeah.
And but you also got to think about who you're gaining as well because
Yeah.
there are people that accept you for who you are, and if a person loved the Lord the way they're supposed to, they're going to love every part of you. What's there, what's not there, we don't care. you
Yep.
know and so to everyone that is in that position, like Pastor Clemens says, talk to your partner because you don't know where they stand, but you
Yeah.
have to be okay if they choose not to transition with you. That doesn't mean they don't love you, that doesn't mean they don't like you, that means they choosing what they want to choose.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be okay with that. It's hurtful because you think that person, you gonna stick by me forever. No, it said for sickness. You ain't sick. So you can't get mad because you ain't sick.
Yeah.
So you ain't broke. So that wasn't a part of my vows. Now,
Yeah.
if you want to stick it in, you should have said something. And but then there are people that totally transition with them, and I think that is a beautiful and healthy thing. But everybody's not there. So thank you for that.
Yeah. Well, again, to your point, Joy, that takes some growth, right? So you have to be at a place where, or I should say, maybe a safe place, right, to be able to one have that conversation, and two, be mature enough to understand the value in giving that person the choice, right? You don't want them to have or be resentful towards you, and so even that part of the conversation, if they're one mature enough to have talk to their spouse and let them know what's going on with them, they feel safe, so on and so forth, trust that whatever their decision or their choice is for them best, and then allow them the freedom to go on and do what they need to do, even outside of that trans experience, right? All of us who are in relationships or seeking to get into relationships, we have a growth period. I could say for myself, right? And Gwen said it earlier. I'm not the same person that I was 10 years ago, 12 years ago, even before I met my wife, right? So we've evolved as people, we've grown. Hopefully, we've learned some things throughout that process. Let's say, for example, we're in a scenario, we're dating someone or we're married, and that person has not grown at the pace of the other one. What
That's
does that
good. That's
conversation look
good.
like, right? Because that happens every day. What's your thoughts on that, Gwen?
I think you just have to give your partner space,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because everybody may not really even see a need to do the things that you're doing. But what you would hope for is that you can inspire them by what you're doing, and that sooner or later they'll catch on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I didn't make it a criteria that when I was in school, wanting to change careers and working on my master's degree, that my wife need to be in school. That was my thing. That was my journey, my dream. I'm working my plan and all of that stuff, and she see things constantly happening, development, personal development taking place.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, she caught the itch, you know, and it was at her urging. It wasn't at my urging.
Mm-hmm.
Even just say like now, she's in ministry, right? I've
Okay.
been in ministry 12 years. She finally decided that, hey, that was up to her calling.
Yeah.
um I think, and what she often tell me is that she thanked me for letting her be her,
Mm-hmm.
right? Not who I want her to be,
Right.
but who she want to be. And uh, and I can't do nothing but say you're welcome, because I've been on the other side of that with somebody
Mm-hmm.
that wanted to impose their will on me. And I give in because I'm being pressured and all these things, and it's not a good position to be in. And then I'm doing something for somebody else. So how long am I gonna hold that end up because I'm trying to be something that you want me to be? Eventually, they're gonna work through it, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what you hope for. You hope that they're inspired by what you're doing, and that they can get your support on whatever it is that they want to do, and navigate this thing together. Because one of the things that I say, listen, um, I got me, you got you, together we're gonna be even better,
Mm-hmm.
because we came in with our own and we put it together, and it's just been that way. I do help, sometimes I do a little gentle push, because my wife, she has a boutique now. I did a little gentle push. I went and got the space for
Okay.
her and brought her the keys and said, "Huh, now what you gonna do with it?" So
Okay.
I gave a little push, just a push. Sometimes people need that because they scared. They be right on the edge.
Yeah.
Ooh, I want to leap, but I'm scared. You have to let them know, hey, listen, we got a parachute, so we not gonna hit it hard. We gonna pop this parachute before we hit the ground.
Okay.
So that just worked for us.
Okay.
And it's been a beautiful thing. It's been a beautiful journey. I see we got a comment up here. One of my friends commented.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think you've been in a long term relationship. What about you, Joy?
So I have a quite unique story, but
Okay.
me and my wife, we've been, what is it, 13, 14? How old Naya? It's been about, no, Naya, I met you when Naya was 7. So she right over here. So it's been a while, but we've been married since 2018. And we've we've had to grow because my wife was, when we met, she was married. So that starts, and we did not engage, I would say, in the best way.
Mm.
So it was like, she was still legally married when I met her and we started dating. So those would be, those were the times that, you know, that we had or what have you. But we've had a lot of working throughs that I think have made us healthier, and we're continuing to get healthier because we live out loud a lot of our life. You're going to see on Facebook because we stay happy. We try to enjoy every moment, and that's just our real us. And then when we're having those, we want to say difficult situations because really we found our difficult situations because neither one of us are communicating. But when we're having those situations where we need to bring in a third party to listen in, we do have a counselor where we're making sure that I'm being heard, you're being heard,
Mm-hmm.
and 9 times out of 10, we're literally saying the same thing. And so
Absolutely.
now early in a relationship, it was yelling and arguing and all of that. I'm too old, 45. I'm not gonna stroke out for you. Ain't nobody gonna want me with a crooked side of my face. Like, we're not doing that. So we need to get it together. All right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
she's getting older too. So come on now. You don't want too many wrinkles and you mad. You're gonna have to move on too, honey. And so, and then too, we got to a point within the last, I want to say, 2 years, to the point where divorce was off the table.
Yeah.
Because when you're mad and you're upset, those words fly. And we don't think it, think we saying, well, I was just mad. I'm a Cancer. I don't care if you was mad or not. I'm holding on to them words and I hold it forever. So we had to really, really nurture our relationship and learn how to communicate, because and understand each other's communication styles. And it was extremely difficult, because I felt like I wasn't being heard. She felt like she was. It was just a lot. And I also know that I get wrapped up into my own, as in, like you said, when it came down to education, when I have a thought in my head, oh, I'm seeing it through. I went from bachelor's and master's to all these certifications and forgot she was standing over there, because I'm focused on me. If a thought come to my head, I want to open up a business, I'll mention it. But next thing you know, next week, oh, we got a new business. We got to, and I had to make sure that she was being involved, because, and this was something too in our communication. I'm quick to say I, but not in the intent of I. It was
Yeah.
like, well, I started this and I opened this and I did this. And she's like, well, that wasn't including me. And I'm thinking in my head, excuse my friend, bitch, you know it included you. That's why I'm looking at it. Quit playing. You know it included you. And she really made me see that it made her feel that it didn't include her, because of the way I positioned, even though in my head and my heart it included her. So it took a lot for us to work through that communication. And we build a lot of our relationship on just having fun with each other, because then that helped ease when we need to have a conversation, when I need to bring up something that happened last week. And like, listen, if I brought it up last week, you probably been texting me divorce papers. But now that we're laughing and we're having a good time, I really didn't appreciate how you said XYZ. And this is why. And then we made rules and boundaries when we're trying to. So if I'm bringing you an issue, we're trying our best not to bring up your issue now that I'm bringing up my issue.
All good
And
stuff.
let's deal with now. If you didn't bring it up the other week or within a certain time frame, because 9 times out of 10, I ain't gonna remember anyway. I don't move past it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we went through a lot of those, and it was our biggest issue was communication. That was our biggest issue.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I just think I just think I've been we've been lucky. We kind of had it easy breezy, and just kind of compliment each other, on those things, and been able to navigate this without any really big hiccups. Usually, if we have an argument, it be me. Because my wife, she's so laid back. She even temper,
Yeah,
even
she is.
keel, and she the yin to my yang, and I'm the combustible one. But I have learned to control that, a lot from the relationship. She just taught me a lot of patience. I'm real gentle with her, that I've never been with anybody. Oh yeah, I
I
mean,
love that.
she like butter.
That's real good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have. I'm so invested in it that the last thing I want to do is hurt her feelings.
Sure.
I never raise my voice. I try to, tailor all of that. I be intentional about it even now. Oh, look, she gonna type in the comments true.
Exactly. You better support,
Okay,
ma'am.
come through, Sean.
um,
But
like
you made a great point, and I really want you to kind of, if you could go a little bit further in that, so people can really understand, because we don't. It's like we're proud to have somebody as our wife in our situations. We're proud to have my wife, but it's like, you know what? I'm just enjoying being your wife and being able to that. And I can say honestly, I'm working towards that, but I'm not the most sympathetic. I'm empathetic. I'm not sympathetic at all. If you sick, go take something. Did you lay down? All right, I'll be in there in a second. What you want me to do? Like, and I just how I'm built. I will bring you a nurse and all the prescriptions you need, but I'm not coming in to rub your head. I'm not doing it. I'm not rubbing your feet. And
Ooh.
but like you said, I want this feedback because she wants that. And I'm like, girl, go lay down. Like, what do
You
you
know,
want? So help me
um,
with that.
girl, listen. I'm gonna get you in trouble.
And you know what? And I because if it sees something that I can fix,
Yeah,
I
you
will
can fix
fix it.
it.
But
Listen, cause
I've never been that way, and
this
I'm
lady
not.
here, she's so spoiled. I rub her to sleep. If I ain't rubbing her back, I'm playing in her head so
I'm the
she can go
first
to
sleep.
sleep. And
I'm out right now.
she come, you get in the bed so you can rub my back. You know, and we 15 years later, we still doing the same thing. So my wife said, "What if the table was turned?"
And you know what? We had that conversation too. If the tables was turned, I don't need that.
But see,
I
that's
told my
that's
wife, and I told my wife this. I said, if I found out, and I know it's gonna rub some people the wrong way, and that's fine. This is work for my household. If I found out I had cancer, and I was at a point where it was no way to navigate through it, I probably wouldn't even tell her for the fact that I don't want that sympathy. I want to be able to live life without that extraness. Like, let's be us. Let's enjoy. I don't need that. When I'm sick, she know I'm sick. She tries, and it's very much appreciated. I just need to go to sleep because
but
I'll
see,
be back up in a couple of hours.
Joy, I'm listening to you, and my counseling kicking in.
Kick in.
Your masculine energy, you need to turn that down a little bit.
Yeah, that might help.
Right. You know, and that's what that masculine energy, that's like that, that deflection, and um that you don't want to, you kind of restrain it from getting that emotional side, and you coming up and let that girl flow, even it out.
Yeah.
Because I like operating in my masculine energy in certain times, but I love operating in my feminine energy also. And I think I get more out of her from the things that she like when I'm in my feminine energy, because my masculine
Good
energy
point.
had an attitude like you had.
Mm.
Because she can walk butt naked if the Lakers on in front of the TV, and I'm telling her to move. Because the Lakers
Not
fan.
the Lakers.
Yeah, I'm a Laker fan and a Grizzly fan. Move. And
See,
don't let it be football. I get
I
lost.
can't do it. I
But
can't do the
I have
sports.
to I have to remember that I am married. And all that part of my sacrifice, you know, and it's part of giving and receiving. Because we can take, and not, all the time. And I wanna have the equality in here, in this relationship. And it works. It works. And it was something that I had to be real intentional about. Do
Hmm.
it on purpose.
Mm.
It didn't come natural. Trust me, it did not come natural. It came from being watching, being keen, listening, all that good stuff. Because one here go prime example. One of my girlfriends, I went to get something to eat. I had to call her and say, "What do you like on your sandwich?" She hung the phone up in my face. So I called back. "Hey, what happened to the phone?" She said, "We've been together 3 years, and you don't know what I like on my sandwich."
Now, see, I would have hit that one. You see that? Now, I would have hit that.
So that was like me not really even being invested to know that you don't like mayo on your ham or hamburger. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Oh, I can go anywhere and get my wife some food. I ain't even got to call her. I know exactly what she want, how she want it, what she want on it, what she don't want on it, all of that good stuff. So just really being invested in this marriage, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if I did the same thing and showed up the same way, I'd still be with the other folks that it didn't work out with.
Hmm.
Right.
So to get something different, I got to do something different.
That
because
part.
other than that, I'm gonna get the same results.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like really reinventing myself, doing this thing over, doing it different. Cause I had a track record. It was 3 years. Then I eclipsed that and made six.
Come on, track record.
So now I'm at 15, baby. It's on. This it.
There you go.
So just even learning myself.
Yeah.
I'm in a comfort now, really of trust. Because I think when we've been hurt by people, and I've done some hurting too now. It ain't just me getting hurt. I've hurt some people too, but we always don't want to give because we're afraid. So I'm not afraid anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not afraid to show my emotions. I had to apologize the other day because I started an argument for nothing.
You know what? At least you acknowledged it.
We got in the
Yeah.
bed. I just took my arm and put it around her. We're not getting in this bed mad.
Yeah.
So she bagged on up. I said, oh, okay, now tomorrow when we wake up, I can apologize. It wasn't even bad. It was something silly, y'all. But just a mere fact, and it was probably the first time we'd had a little argument in about 9 months. And
Yeah.
that hurt my feelings. I don't like arguing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I'm invested in it. I'm invested in her emotions. I'm invested in her, how I treat her, how I talk to her. You know, I'm the hard headed one. I'm the rough around the edges.
Uh-huh.
She not. So I had to match her energy because my energy was gonna make the relationship. We weren't gonna make it if I was coming in like that song coming in hot.
Yeah.
We weren't gonna make it.
But Gwen, you
I
brought
get
up
that.
a really good point in that, and I feel like we should highlight this so that the audience, those who are listening, can really understand that it's okay to operate in both your masculine and your feminine energy, and figuring out what that balance look like, right? And so this particular question we're talking about is the growth that we've all had, right, or that we can all encourage for ourselves in that, figuring out that balance, and also like you said, learning yourself more so that you can be a better version of yourself to be able to offer to your marriage or to your union, is only beneficial for everybody that's involved, right? So say for today, like you said, Joy, you're not at a place where you're as attentive to her needs in certain areas, right? Then that may be something that you take on for yourself to maybe operate more in the feminine energy to be able to support your wife in that manner. We all have to get to a place to recognize that, see what that looks like, figure out how we're going to get there. I can say that's been a work in progress even for myself. I've not always been the most patient, the most understanding, the most forgiving, the most even in terms of relationship. I didn't always, want to be in a committed relationship. I was out here, living my best single life and having a lot of fun, but that all of that was growth, and knowing that, I can't always operate out of this place. I have to move forward to something better. And like you said, that requires something different. So if we don't want the same things in our other relationship that did not
Mm.
work and we know didn't work, we have to do something different. So I'm a
Now,
testament of that.
so if I could take that a step further, so not removing what you said, because what I take away for what the advice that you gave me is being more intentional,
Mm,
and that I can do.
mm-hmm,
But when it comes down to my feminine and my masculine energy, my my pure love, and so the way I love and how I love is my feminine energy. I'm
okay.
ruled by Venus in that aspect. Now, because I do believe in astrology and all of that. Now, everything else about me operates out of a masculine energy, has always been, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I've been that way since birth. And so when it comes down to I'm showing love and speaking love, that I've never had a problem with. Now,
Mm-hmm.
when it come down to the sympathy aspect of it, um, I've never been that person where what I hated about lesbians is that it was always that ooh baby, and I hated that. It's because it felt fake. It was like, oh, so I would never include. Now, when I could say a complaint with my wife is when she's sick, she wants to be baby. And so, like you said, that part I will 100% learn to be more intentional, as in not responding the way I think up here. Because the way I
Okay.
think up here is, why you ain't gonna take something? Well, did you call the doctor? What they said? And in my head, I'm thinking that is showing
Showing
that I
love.
care.
Okay.
And in her head, she like, well, I'm gonna call my mama anyway. Let me call 13 of my other friends because ain't none of y'all, you ain't saying you don't love me for real. And we go through it. Like, wait a minute. I
But
just
see,
asked.
but Joy, you just solve your own problem.
Yeah, I know that. That's why I said I could take away of being more
No,
intentional.
I ain't talking about that.
Oh, what?
I ain't talking about that. You just revealed the clue, like of why you say you do what you do. See, see, we just don't wake up one day and say, this is how I am.
No, I was born like this.
Nope, no, you weren't.
I'm my daddy's child. My daddy's so nonchalant about life.
No, ma'am. And so that's where the conflict shows up in our relationship interaction with people, because we think that that's our mode of operation and that's just how we are. You are not your daddy.
No, no, I didn't say I was my daddy. I do get that
You
mannerism from
said you
him.
said that behavior, right? That's a part of our belief system. And we can have this thing called faulty belief system.
I can get that.
Right. And when we go out into the world and we show up based on what we've been taught, seen, heard, believed from our, because our first introduction to any type of relationship usually begins at home. Exactly. You can unlearn that. You can unlearn that mode of operation. So we get our first example of relationship usually at home from our parents, our cousin, grandparents, school. Ain't no manual for this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So when we go out into the world, usually in the course of it, we making shit up. Excuse my language. We,
You
we
right
like
about
we
that.
cooking gumbo. We putting everything in it.
Everything in it.
And
From
that's
sack to
why we have
succotash.
cultural clashes. That's why how we have clashes with people when we enter into relationships and we believe something so hard, so wholeheartedly that we're invested and anchored in it. And we can't not say we can show up and say, this is how I am, take it or leave it. It don't work like that. It's gonna always bring you conflict.
Mm.
Cause I had a whole belief system, honey, and it did not serve me well at all. It caused me problems. And it wasn't until I began to dismantle them
Mm.
and replace them with healthy habits, constructive habits, things that produce the results that I said I wanted. Because for a long time, I rested my belief that other people made me happy. Like, I want I don't want to be in this relationship no more because you don't make me happy and I ain't happy. Not knowing that happiness was within me and
Mm-hmm.
within my control. They add
Right.
to it, but they don't have the total control of it. So I had to unlearn all that stuff because I believed it. I believed that foolishness. And that's how you begin to start seeing, you think everything beautiful now, like you said, y'all happy and have fun. Stop working on that other stuff and watch what happened. You're gonna be like, y'all done kicked it to another girl you didn't even know you had.
Mm.
Well, maybe I'll start if she gonna pump me out a boy. She give me a little boy, I'll start.
Yeah,
That'll be
and
the trade-off.
it's and then this other thing, like the masculine thing, those traits are kind of come from the example of the masculine people, that men that we've been around. Like inherently, we have them. Like I was athletic, tomboyish, all of that good stuff. And that masculine energy, it works to a point, but I don't want it to be the dominant side of me that I operate in anymore. I say anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have met some very um mindful men that are in tune with their femininity. But
Mm-hmm.
I got a good friend that getting ready to get married, and all he do all day long is post on Facebook about his fiance. And I was like, oh my God, Tim, you know. But he's like heartfelt, and he doesn't have a problem with showing his emotions,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
and that's healthy. Like I used to want to show my emotions because I was worried about how I would be received, or if you would reject me, or you think I'm weak.
Mm.
But that doesn't equate to any of that. And if a person want to take advantage of you because you're very emotional, then guess what? We don't need to be together because you're
Yeah.
not my equal, especially with emotional intelligence and mature enough to deal with me. No. So that's some learned behavior you telling me when you was talking about. I need you to take care of Miss Young when she not feeling well. You gonna go roll some toes or something.
I'm gonna call her mama, and she gonna come lay in that bed with nah. Nah, I would definitely take care of her. I would definitely make sure that she's, taken care of. But I mean, I can only be honest on, the aspect about me because I think that's it. I'm a problem solver.
Yeah.
I'm a natural problem solver. So when you come to me, I'm automatically gonna work out 13 things. And I mean, by trade, I'm a program manager. I solve problems all day. So if you come to me with boom, 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 I done found this many things on how we can fix it. So, I just sometimes have to go into relationship mode and remove work. And it's
Absolutely.
hard transitioning because I'm typically sitting in the same seat when I'm solving those problems.
Yeah. 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 Well,
Maybe
Gwen, I
maybe you need to get a sign that say wife on duty now or something, so you can take that out.
flipped the
And,
switch.
right. Yeah, I agree. My friend on here, she said emotions shouldn't be gendered but seen as a human experience. I agree
Good.
wholeheartedly. But
That
I
is
do
good.
operate in my masculine emotions. So I
Mm-hmm.
got to gender them because I do. And it's hard for people that don't have masculine energy to really understand when you get a lot of masculine women around and we
Right.
begin to talk like this. I'm not trans at all, right?
Yeah.
But I have very dominant features and very masculine energy about
Yeah,
myself.
right, right.
But for feminine women that don't have it, they can't vibe with this. So we know what we talking about here.
Yeah. 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 I have one other question, Gwen, I want to ask. And you said this in one of your classes so many years ago, and hopefully I can say it right to where we can talk about it. Uh, but it was regarding relationships. And, when you're meeting somebody and you're talking, you're getting to know them. And it was around offering that person at least 95% of yourself, keeping that 5%.
Oh, you talk
I'm going
about
to tell you,
95.5.
yes, I'm gonna tell you right now,
Yeah,
that
I
has
need to hear
helped
that.
me. That has listen, my wife, she probably got maybe 97%. So but look, I held her at 95 for a good little long time. Just know.
Woo,
And I
Keisha,
kept
you
that 5% to myself because it's mine. And I'm
yeah,
entitled to that. Not that it's,
absolutely.
she can't have it. It's just maybe I don't want to give it all to her right away. Maybe,
No, no,
another 10 years, maybe she can have it.
no, no.
So
Wait a
what's up with the
minute.
95
Remember,
10, 95 5?
remember the 95.5 rule. If you say that you're gonna do 100%, then you lying, right?
Right.
Nobody. I don't care who it is gonna say I'm gonna give you 100% of myself. Well, I'm gonna be 100% honest all the time.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's you lying. You lying. You lying. You lying. You lying. So the way even just to give it up and fashion it so that you'll have a really good understanding is just like, look 95%, but 5%, it's mine. Because some people really don't have that opportunity to say, I need privacy,
Mm.
right? I'm entitled to my privacy. I'm entitled to not tell you everything about me.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing for you. You're not entitled to tell me everything. And remember, I had said earlier that people think relationships are ownership. You don't own me.
Right.
All you gotta do go file for a divorce. I can show you how fast you own me because now that's what I'm out of this. But it's a partnership. It's a partnership.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
That's a good word,
I have
partnership.
friends that they can't talk on the phone in private. They can't get up and leave the room. You know, what a trust it.
Yeah.
Like, right? Like me and my wife do not have joint bank accounts. We have separate bank accounts.
Hmm.
You know, we know what bills we pay together. Everything else is taken care of by me. So and that's just how it is. Um I don't answer her phone. She don't answer my phone unless I say my phone ringing. I got a lock on my phone. She know the passcode if she need it. And guess what? I can give her my phone the whole day and not worry about nothing coming in my phone inappropriate.
Yeah.
But why should I have to? Or vice versa. You know, some
No,
people say,
I get that.
I bet you can't. I bet you can't give your spouse your phone for the whole
Mm.
day. I bet I can.
I
Yeah.
bet you I can.
Yeah.
Now, do I want to? Is
I,
a difference
no,
because
no,
she
I
can
shouldn't
go.
have to.
No, it's not that. She'll go on my Cash App real quick, sent herself something. She'll
But
be
look,
order something. I'll be like, wait a minute.
yeah,
So,
I mean, it just trust, and
Yeah.
that was one of the things that we talked about in the beginning. That was I had like three non-negotiables. Like it's these are deal breakers for me,
Mm-hmm.
and one of them was trust. do 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 not. I'm like you, Joy. I'm not. I'm like you, Keisha. I'm not gonna forgive you. So, but the whole thing was come and talk to me. I don't care what it is. Even if you're thinking about going outside the relationship, hell, I might say bring her home. You never know.
especially if it's Jill Scott, bring her.
Or Nina kneel long.
We can talk.
But that's just one of those things, and
Yeah.
don't lie. You don't have to. We
Yeah.
adult. We Let's talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
And I hadn't ever had that, so I was like, I'm gonna be like build a bear with this relationship. This gonna be here, and I had prayed, and I was asking. I'm like, I'm gonna fix this, and I build a bear. I'm finna build this one here how I want it to be, and I was intentional about it, and it just worked. But yeah, that 95.5, it's something that we use, and it works. Sometimes I don't like it because the shoe be on the other foot. But I have to remember, you the one came up with it. Taraji, you can have Taraji. My wife gonna say Taraji.
Yeah. She
You
put
can
her
have
bid in.
Taraji. Nope. But yeah, Keisha, I remember that. I
Yeah.
still use it.
Yeah, me too. That has helped me, and I'll be honest with you. There's a lot of things I learned from you, Gwen, about relationships. Even before that, although I was fairly young in my early 30s, if I remember correctly, I was just operating just crazy. But I mean, a good portion of my life, I was single. You know what I'm saying? I didn't necessarily have to be in a relationship. It just wasn't for me. It wasn't always for me. I just had a lot of flexibility. But when you taught that, or when I was in that class, I remembered that. And that was something that I carried with me along with some other things, right? But that was one of the things that I carried with me, and I even carried it with me into my marriage. And we still operate in that, even today. Sometimes my wife would say, well, no, this is my 5%. And she's, and I just, okay, fine, you can have that. And that's just what it is. So yeah, I just wanted you to share that with me. Joy, did you have something else you wanted to say?
This has been so good. I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
love it. Absolutely. No,
Absolutely.
I don't. I think we have a lot of takeaways. And that 95.5, I definitely want to hear more about it. So I'm gonna make sure do you talk about it on your page or anything that I can go back and research it?
You know what? I haven't. Oh, Keisha, she was talking about when we first started. She went way
That was
back to the
years.
archives, but I still have all that manuscript. I still have all of that. That was like the first time I had actually wrote, um, Relationship Unleashed. I
Hmm.
wrote it. It was a 6-week thing. We did it for
Uh-huh.
Bible study. And I still have all of that. I still have all that material, and I really need to been working on a journal that I want to put together. And actually in March we're getting ready to do some relationship stuff. relationship tune-up, workshops through our nonprofit, free to the public. I won't be streaming, y'all, but I might come back on and do some talk. My friend is on here, Dr. Hankton. She's a psychologist, clinical
Mm-hmm.
psychologist, the one
Okay.
that's talking in the comments,
Yeah, yeah, I see it.
Dr. U. So, and she writes in the magazine for us also. So, I'll bring her in and we can chop it up again, y'all.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So how can so have, were you able to put in your links and your contact information so that people can know how to reach out to you, how to contact you about the magazine if they want to be features, partner with you, whatever it takes? Because you
Uh,
have some wonderful things going on. And I think, we have a lot of new people and people on our side that maybe want to partner with you. How can they
so
get in contact with you?
I'm looking at the chat here, and it won't. It say when I join the chat, it send me to YouTube.
Yeah. So we on YouTube and Facebook.
Okay.
So,
Oh,
because I do know you have
I could
relationshipunleashed.com.
I could put it in here. It's
Okay.
yep,
And the
that's the
Unleashed
nonprofit.
Voice.
I got one for you. My personal website is info at gwenclemons.com. Bam. That's my personal website. I got
Okay.
booking calendar on there, about myself, bio, the services that I provide personally myself. Uh, my email, same thing, info at Gwen Clemons. No, I'm sorry. That's my email. My website is gwenclemons.com. Okay. The first one is my email, info at Gwen Clemons. And that's my website, gwenclemons.com. So the magazine, we on all social media platforms. It's tuvmag.com. But if they want to get in it, I'm always looking for contributing writers or anything you want to talk about. The feature y'all shows, um, put y'all on our website. I shared it actually to the magazine page tonight. Um, this broadcast here.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Uh, this is our nonprofit. We do comprehensive workshops, empowerment workshops for the Black LGBTQ community, but not limited to mental health. Uh, we're really HIV and AIDS advocates in our community. Trauma, substance use. We do trans services, referrals, medical care, things like that. So
I think
just
that's very healthy.
Hmm. Well,
well
all of those
rounded.
people are there for the for Pride when they show up, right?
Oh yeah.
All those resources, yeah. So
Pick up the Pride website. So we start June, Father's Day weekend, 4 days. Uh, really big. I'm really excited about this year. We're planning now. Last year we had Avery Wilson in town and Anaya, and
yeah,
we
yeah.
had Trina. So we're building up here in Memphis.
Come on, Memphis.
Yeah,
Yes, I
we're
already got my
building.
tickets, Gwen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I have a great time every time I go. So, everybody who is listening, I want y'all to go ahead and follow Gwen on the social media platforms that she talked about that you see listed on, I believe it's Facebook and YouTube. Outside of that, if you guys don't have any other questions, nothing else.
No, this has been amazing. Thank you so
Yes.
much for your expertise. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for the knowledge that you bring. We got some really good points out of this. Thank you for just creating a platform
Yeah.
that you have. And I know I've already got like at least four or five people that I'm going to send the information over to because I think that they can have some good partnership.
Yeah.
Because I know I have some really good people that are looking to connect with our community and offer good resources, safe resources, healthy
Mm-hmm.
resources. And I think, maybe a good partnership will help. And of course, you will determine that. But yeah, we got to put it out there. Know that, we're visible, we're relevant, and how they can help us and support us. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Like I said, we've been here 10 years. Um, Hopefully this fall, that's the plan. We can have a big celebration. That's a milestone,
Yeah.
uh, doing this for 10 years. So I was like wondering, like, listen, God, what you got me doing over here? But you know, count your blessings and keep pushing one day at a time, one day at a time. And I thank y'all so much. It's good to see uh, other black entrepreneurs out here doing their thing. I'm so happy for you, Keisha and
Thank you.
Coach Young. I'm happy for you. Y'all make sure y'all tag me in your broadcast coming up so I can help share and spread the word about the work y'all doing.
We sure will. We sure will.
Absolutely.
We
Absolutely.
sure
Well,
will.
thank you so much. I
I
really
love it.
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
All right. Well, everyone, please keep a regal mindset. We thank you all for tuning in tonight. Please like, share, and also comment because we need y'all feedback. We need to know what it is that y'all would like for us to discuss and talk about, dive into, and of course, invite some other experts on so that we could chop it up with y'all. So, thank you all again, and we'll see you next week.